Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. It is Monday, beginning of a new week, which means we also kick off a new theme. This week's theme is multilingual vocals. We'll be looking at songs that feature two or more languages in the vocal work. We're going to kick it off with some Swans, which I think is a bit of an interesting start to this. Though, I suppose right in the title, we have a little bit of English and French, possibly. French pronunciation is as terrible as ever. I'm just going to call this the song Bring the Sun, but there is that second portion to the title. Let's dive into this and see what Swans is bringing for us today with this 34-minute epic. So this could either be a really slow 4, or it could be a really fast 3. I forgot we were listening to The Swans. Or just Swans. Gotta reconfigure my mind. I was expecting something else other than this monotone repetition. I like how that twinkling synth is still around. So we still have that boom, boom. And that's carries over from the intro, but at a bit of a slower pace here. We still have that same cadence though. A lead into the downbeat with space between the downbeat to the lead into the next. Are those words? I don't think so. I think those are just sounds, syllables. It goes along pretty well with the chanting from earlier, with those oohs or ahs, I don't remember what they were. Long held out notes, or long held out syllables with note movement on them. So it's interesting as we've sort of expanded on that 3 pulse, and to me at least we've pushed it to 6/8 realm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's also a 4 pulse in here. If this acts as your 3, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can feel this in 3, 6, or 4. Depending on what rhythms you're paying attention to. Increasing volume around everything, but certainly on the snare, we're getting more of that than ever. I don't know if those are ghost notes or not, but we're certainly getting something less accented on the snare. I like the width of sound, especially on the snare, sort of not just increasing in volume, but also the reverb, of course, from the higher volumes pushed out to the sides. We've also moved away from very warm and inviting chords to introducing tension, especially off on the left. Tempo increase. Yeah, it's subtle, but it's there. It's interesting, as we increase the speed and the volume, it becomes more wall of soundy. I'm having a difficult time discerning all of the individual parts of what's going on. So back to this more meditative sounds that we started off like 10 minutes ago, but maybe not. It's an interesting selection of notes for this part. It kind of feels like it wants to be ragtime a little bit, but it's not the correct grouping of notes. Like 60% there. Is that a saw? It's definitely some sort of wide sweeping movement to cut something. There's definitely destructive tone to that. Could also be a meat cutter, now that I think about it. A meat slicer. Pulsating onto the right. Horses? Carriage? Definitely a feeling of dread coming from these drawn out notes. That's just tension. There's still horses? Yeah, that's really creepy now. Sounds like lost souls screaming. Much like the previous quasi-ragtime, this is a section that is kind of focusing on noise in general. Overwhelming discomfort. It really feels like there is something at the core that's being distorted, much like how that ragtime sound was partially there, but not fully. It was being contorted into something else. Bells. I would never have heard them. If they have been present, they've been so far beneath everything else. But it could also have been a crossfade transition too. So those are slides on a fretted instrument. But the delay made it sound very cool. So we had horses, noise, bells, and now whistles. I'll be honest, I am so very lost. At least up to this point, I kind of understood some of these sections were atmospheric, meditative, even. I don't know that I had a stronger grasp on what the song was trying to do, but I at least kind of got something. That series that we just went through, it couldn't have been more random as far as I'm concerned. I have no idea how any of that works together. I do like the drumming here. We have some light ghost notes every once in a while, very light snare hits. Yeah. Toussaint! Would you shout at me?
Toussaint L'Ouverture!
Yeah, very cool atmosphere here.
Toussaint! Toussaint
Wow. Lots of emphasis on that tongue roll. I like the effect on the vocals too. It sounds like someone up on a stage. Mid-fi speaker system around, very booming tone though, lots of reverb, but more compressed than I think you'd want for a situation like this. But it does present a specific emotion, almost like a ringleader in a circus. That's kind of what it feels like. More so than like an expensive sound system at an arena or something.
Toussaint L'Ouverture. Toussaint L'Ouverture.
Well, there's certainly been a lot of sonic exploration in this part. I mean, this is taking almost 10 minutes alone right here. And despite having the bass and drums consistent throughout, and the sitar, I think, we have been exploring electronic sounds around everything. Well, the meditation has certainly been stopped. We've been losing that meditative state for a while now, but this is just noise at this point. Well, that was certainly an experience. Just to get the negatives out of the way, I don't want to dwell on them. Do need to state them though. So much of this it far exceeds its welcome, which is a subjective thing. You may find this all to be perfectly paced. I do not. Most of these sections just dragged on way past the point that I appreciated what they were doing. But I also recognize it would be a very different song if these, well, like 4 sections in total, it came out to 8 minutes in length or something. The entire experience would be different, and the weight and meaning of some of these sections would be totally different. So I don't think the song should be shorter, but it's not going to grab me as an audience due to how long it spends its time with some of these ideas. And I guess a good segue right here is that the song is hyper focused on mashing minimalism against maximalism, and neither one of them really worked for me. The more minimal sections didn't have a moving part to really pull me through them, and the maximalist sections were just noise. But I suppose that that's a good place to start in what the song is doing well, objectively. The song does a fantastic job of moving between these lower impact moments, stuff that is bordering on meditative. In fact, I think some of the sections in here would work really well for meditation just based on the hyper repetition and the lack of really anything going on. Now, the beginning of the song doesn't do that. The beginning of the song I actually found a little annoying with its super tight loop, and I quite appreciated the longer ideas that we tended to focus on later on into the song. But right there at the beginning, very abrasive start, almost maximalist in its minimalism. There's so many layers going on here, but they're pretty much all locked into one single bar idea. It's a meeting of the two worlds, maximalist in sonic elements, minimalist in composition. But after this part, we start chanting, and then we bring the energy down, and we spend almost 10 minutes, I think, building the song up. Slowly, very slowly, adding layers and sounds and volume and impact. This is a gradual rise over the entire course of this, which, like I said, it's like 10 minutes or so, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It's a long time to do a slow burn that's not layer based. You know, we do occasionally introduce some new layers, but a lot of it is just a one-off sound. Just have some sort of electronic thing coming in on this side. You might hear it a few times, but then it goes away to make room for another sonic exploration. All the while, your core instrumentation, the foundation of this section, is increasing in volume. We're going from something that's probably double piano to double forte across 10 minutes. It is such a minuscule amount of volume change per bar per minute. It's really easy to kind of not even recognize the volumes raising too much, just like at the time when we had the tempo increase towards the end of this moment. I actually questioned it. I said, tempo increase. Or is it? Like, it was so subtle. It's such a small tempo increase that kind of don't even know if it is. It's not until we reach something that is demonstrably faster than where we were. I'm like, oh yeah, we have been building. I didn't notice it in the moment, but this is certainly faster than where we started. The volume's the same way. It's so minuscule. And this concept of building from low to high, bringing it back down to low, building back up to high, even there at the very end in the last, 5 minutes, after we had the vocals leave, we really layered in a lot of noise. After like a minute or so, we brought that down. I was like, oh, we're going to wrap this song up on something light, but we built back up into something high in a much shorter time frame. I think this was only a minute for the build up here, but it's still a song that is obsessed with peaks and valleys and the movement between them. It is a song that is hyper focused on movement over vast distances. And this song does a lot of that well. I'm not going to say I was totally engaged with every moment of this song, but there are certainly parts where when things really started to pick up, yes, maybe the tempo and the volume is still more minuscule, but you can begin to hear the harmonic tension rising, moving away from consonant harmony to dissonant. When the layers really start coming in, when we start to move towards tenser and tighter and more cluttered sounds until it peaks into noise or wall of sound territory, these moments in between I found to be really evocative. Not quite passive, not quite aggressive. Somewhere in the middle, in a transition mode. I think that's what really stood out to me about them is a lot of bands are focused on the highs and the lows, a low verse and a high chorus, maybe a short 4-bar phrase to transition between them, maybe acting as like a little pre-chorus, but never really focusing too much on that. The contrast is the focus, and for a band like Swans, it's the journey. And I really like moments like this where you can't tell where we are. Where we've been, you know, but you can't really see the path that we've been right now. It's very different from where we were. It's kind of become its own path. We've been in this transition for so long. Is it really a transition or is it just phase 2? And then once we pull out of it, we're going into a peak, a high that is nothing like where we came from at all. It's so so separated from the quieter parts. If you listen, you can still kind of hear some of that foundation in it, but it's so cluttered. There's so many things going on. It's so noisy now that honestly, I think it's hard to pick out. Every once in a while, you might notice the 3 notes from the bass. Oh yeah, that sounds familiar. And then it gets scooped back up into the mix, it's a part of the whole again. And yet, you were on the journey. You walked the path. You saw this path from start to finish. You know this is all connected. It's so difficult from a bird's eye view to see how it fits together. But in the moment, yeah, I can totally see why we're here based on where we came from. The path makes sense. And that's something that this song does really well, is the journey of everything. Now, this song goes through a lot of different ideas. We have the single idea intro. We have some chanting and minimalism, rising action that takes us to noise. Then there's a solid couple of minutes of horses. I can't even explain that one. We have a return to something more meditative. I really love the groove here. More noise, a fake out ending, more noise, an ending. And as much as this song loves to drag things out, that final note has a full minute fade out. And it even goes to the point where I had to crank up the volume pretty high just to hear the note anymore. But the song wasn't over. It was technically still playing a tone. You know, if you're looking at the volume meter over there in the last 30 seconds, you might have seen that there's still sound, but you don't hear anything. It's quiet. It got dragged out like everything else. But I do like the second part of the vocals. The first part where I don't even know what they were singing. Something about a sun? bring the sun, out comes the sun, something like that. That part I wasn't too keen on. But when he started screaming at me in, I'm going to assume French, based off of the title of the song, I liked the texture on the vocals. I explained a little bit of how I assume they're kind of, what kind of sound they were crafting there. I'm not exactly sure how they did that sound, but I liked it. Like I said, kind of a mid-fi, lo-fi announcer person on a stage, but not a great sound system kind of thing going on. It's cool. It works. It's very boomy. It's very compressed. This whole section is just super groovy. I love the drum part to it. The bass, was it piano or synth that was going on there too? It's a little moody. Not very haunting though. It's just rooted. It's grounded. Dim, but not dark. That makes sense? And just solid groove, dude. I'm just chilling with it. Every once in a while, though, weird sounds, noise, something very haunting and off-putting, being shouted at. There's definitely parts in here that's unsettling, but the core foundation here is solid. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed myself for a moment in this track. And that's really all I have to say on it, though. I liked a moment. I liked a single groove when it was at its most minimal. And it has highs and lows. And I don't really get the journey, but I can see how the journey works. I'm really curious what other people get out of this emotionally, though. Do you have some sort of narrative with it, or is it just the journey, the experience, the meditation for you? To me, it sounds like jam sessions. Maybe not one jam session in particular, but it seems like there were probably 3 jam sessions in here, maybe with a pre-composed foundation. And they're like, just put that on loop and we'll see what happens. I'll sing over it. I'll shout some stuff. Y'all play some weird noises on the side. We're going to build it up over time. And like, instead of planning how the song goes, just kind of key everyone in. The goal here is after however long, we're going to have a peak of noise. We're going to get there eventually. But what happens along the way, we'll improvise it. And you do that for like 3 different sections, and then you pre-compose the transitions between them. Like, I don't think that somebody just randomly had Horse field recordings on hand and they're like, oh, this is the perfect time to play this. I've been holding it forever. No, I think that's definitely a pre-composed idea. But I do think that this is like 3 jam sessions smashed together with some transition ideas. And that's why it doesn't have much of an emotional ring to me, because it's more about the experience and the performance, maybe the emotions of the performers, more than telling a story emotionally. It's not as handcrafted. Let me hit some lyrics on this. That might help a little bit, though. Doubt it. And we'll wrap this video up. Well, yeah, the lyrics don't help me understand this song at all. But they're not super disjointed either. It's certainly focusing on something. It doesn't help with the music. The first part, Bring the Sun, simply says, bring the sun, spins around, it is mine. Then there's a repetition of sun, 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 bring the sun, sun, sun. I guess this is the buildup in the first 15 minutes or so. The second half of this track, though, is about Toussaint, which I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I am going to butcher it. But he was a Haitian general during the Haitian Revolution. Michael Gira says that he's kind of fascinated by this. He was a former slave who helped kick the French out of Haiti. And that makes a little bit more sense with the other lines in here, which we have French for liberty, equality, fraternity, which is the national motto of Haiti. And then we also have blood of God, son of God, love of God. Blood is life, life is blood, blood is love, love is blood in Spanish. Before returning back to shouting Toussaint, freedom, and ellos, which is Spanish for them. So we have French, Spanish, and English on this track. But the idea of freedom and uh, what is it, liberty? Yeah, and equality makes sense if we're. Are we singing about a Haitian general though? We just kind of shout his name and then say some words that are about freedom and then start talking about the blood of God. Like, where does this come from? I'm not really sure. It's it's very stream of consciousness, which is why I think that at least on the vocal area, I'm still like 50-50 on the music, but at least on the vocals, it almost seems improvised. I don't know. Just where one word seems to take Michael to the next. It's not a lot of connectivity. And trying to pair this back to the music, yeah, dude, the highs and the lows don't say anything to me about this, about a fight for freedom. So, yeah, I've got nothing here. As usual with Swans, gonna wrap this up. I don't think I added much to anyone's understanding of this. I don't understand the song myself, so I'm not gonna sit up here and try to be this guide through it. This is definitely a track where I'm going to need some help understanding it, and thus, as usual, I reach out to all of you. These are just my thoughts, but what are yours? Did you appreciate this? Did you enjoy it? Is there anything in here that you'd like to add on to what I said, correct me on, or even just point me in a very different direction? Do you have a different take or opinion on this track? Please put all of that and any other thoughts you have into the comment section below. Above that, in the description box, you can find a link to Linktree. It takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. All right, that wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.